Hello everybody, my name is Kenneth and welcome to or back to my YouTube channel. In today's video we're going to be checking out Mingi from Ateez's new solo Fix Off Desire Project number 1 Tunnel. Before I started recording this, obviously I got the YouTube video kind of up and ready, and I looked at the description and it was so really satisfying to see Song Mingi in so many of the credits. It was like a real proud moment for me. I saw these photos on Instagram, and a friend of mine was like, "Did you see there's a YouTube premiere?" And I was like, "No, what do you mean? No, what do you mean?" Um, and so I'm really looking forward to checking this out. So without any further ado, let us get into Tunnel.
바람에 흘려보냈어 사진 작은 맘까지도 한 글자도 보기 어려워서 다 떠나보냈어.
Also, pause warning. I know people don't like when people pause, but pause warning. I forgot to say it in the beginning. I'm gonna start again. But pause warning. I really like the vibe so far.
바람에 흘려보냈어 사진 작은 맘까지도 한 글자도 보기 어려워서 다 떠나보냈어. 혼자 남겨진다는 게 해도 적응이 안 됐나봐. 소중하다는 건 과연 나한테 무슨 의미일까.
Ooh, there's a really interesting effect in the ears there. Okay, that was the swear word. I like how this song musically is completely almost different to what we expect from like Ateez's group music. It's a lot softer. It's a lot angstier, which was what I was hoping for. But it's a lot softer than I'm used to, because obviously in Ateez, Mingi is kind of the kind of in your face rapper presence. And it's really nice to see this softer side of him. It's beautiful so far. Was this the song I remember a few months ago, maybe? A bunch of TikTok clips went around. I think it was a few months ago. And it was Mingi working on a song. Was it this song, do we know? Because, again, I remember something going around a few months ago of him working on something. I think maybe it was a clip of him on a live stream talking about something. This is really good. I'm genuinely not surprised, but I'm genuinely, I don't actually know what the word is, affected. I didn't expect this from the kind of first solo release. Again, I guess I'm more used to, again, that kind of really confident rapper Mingi that we're used to. I really like that. Yeah, I'm kind of speechless. Um, in a great way. Um, first and foremost, I hope he's really happy with this release because it sounds great. It works really great. The music video looks wonderful. Um, Before I started recording, I saw a post. I think someone had screenshotted some messages from Hongjun um, on the KQ app. I can't remember what it's called, but he said that he was really proud of him and he really liked the song. Um, it's really good. I'm gonna watch it through again and see if there's anything that I missed because I was really kind of focused on trying just to listen and just to follow the lyrics and stuff. I like that in the beginning. There will be more pausing this time. Again, I like how it starts off so soft. I like how even from these beginning lyrics, it's almost about the tunnel referring to like a journey, like the title tunnel referring to a journey. But even from these first lyrics, it's kind of like he's preparing to put things behind him because of something that happened that affected him in a negative way. I like that little synth. The outfits in this are really, really nice. The outfits, they're really understated, but they stand out in these kind of dilapidated might be a bit offensive of a term, but these kind of dilapidated, abandoned settings. And you really do get a sense, even though obviously, especially in the performance scenes, that he's with other people. In terms of the characterization, he's with other people. You do get the sense that he is really, really solitary and really alone. I can't with the tattoos. I think this is where I said, because the first time I listened to it, it didn't happen this time when I listened through, oddly. But the first time, it felt, because obviously I'm listening to these in headphones, it felt like the sound went from this like quiet kind of mixing, and it almost started to fill out the space, like the virtual space of my headphones. It didn't happen as much this time, but I really liked that the first time I heard it. Kind of did it that time. It's interesting, he talks about can he delete these memories as almost it's a kind of repetitive process, like he goes through maybe a portion of his life, and then something bad, something traumatic happens, and it's like time to get rid of everything again. And it's interesting, like using the kind of themes of sunset and sunrise, because obviously a lot of people like do the whole thing of it's a brand new day, new start kind of thing, and obviously that happens cyclically as well. I think that makes me really sad. Here he talks about how the void is always waiting for him, and how he kind of gets drunk to forget it. It's to go through some whatever it is that he's talking about, to go through something that traumatic, that you have to feel, that you have to kind of drink away, away the pain, is unfortunately it's such a common experience. It happens a lot, but it doesn't make that commonality doesn't make it any better. I also like the way he and the production team use a lot of this space. So you had him kind of in the lower levels, and then here you switch up, and the whole music video really uses the scale of the buildings to really hone in on that kind of loneliness, that kind of feeling of the void, and emptiness. It's such a simple setting to look at. You know, it's a block of flats. You know, maybe an abandoned block of flats, an old block of flats. Maybe it's even a condemned building. Maybe. But just to use that in this song is really, really smart. I like that little film burn. I think what I love most about this, and this is not to disparage electronic music a lot, or at all rather, it's the fact that I love that this is such a guitar-led song. It really feels quite stripped back, in comparison to like having a bunch of synth layers and stuff like that. Obviously, there's the occasional synth like earlier and stuff like that, but I really like the way that it's very much a band piece, in terms of like a guitar band and drum band, kind of piece. I think it just helps with that aura of sensitivity to the subject, because there are songs obviously that kind of go with the almost hiding in plain sight kind of thing, where they'll have a really thumping beat behind like the lyrics and stuff like that, and it's almost kind of as a redirect or a distracting tactic. Like you're bopping to a song, but then you really read the lyrics and listen to the lyrics, and you're like, oh, I've been dancing to a song about this, and so it's almost like a kind of way of vulnerability and, again, that intimacy, sensitivity to the subject, that he's chosen this kind of genre for the song. I really like this. I know this is project number one, Desire project number one. I am really looking forward to what's to come, from this. I think everyone's had that moment where you said something to someone, you know, whatever it is, you know, this doesn't affect me, this doesn't hurt me, but everything you're saying to them in that moment is very much a lie. It's a very relatable experience, is that line, I think. I think it's interesting as well, this line again about deleting memories, the fact it's a question, because he clearly has this kind of feeling of wanting to move on, but the fact it's a question and it's will I, it's almost like does his emotional connection to these memories overpower that will to move on, because sometimes you've got to detach yourself from the emotions and the nostalgia and of the memories in order to move past and move forward, and so it's very telling that he does this once in a while. You know, again, that cyclic behavior, or at least he feels it's a cyclic behavior, but he still has that reservation and the doubt of whether he can actually do it, and maybe even whether it's worth doing it. Obviously, throughout the song, you've got these feelings of almost, drinking himself because he feels worthless, kind of thing. So there's that kind of element of, will I do it because I'm worth doing it? I'm almost like a self-care project of, am I as a person worth working on and worth pushing forward? And I think yes, personally, as I'm sure many of you do. But obviously for Mingi, in his personal kind of thought process, we can't claim to know what he thinks about himself at any given moment. I think that's the thing as well. It's like when you go through traumas, and we all go through trauma. Every one of us have got some kind of trauma, whether it's big or small. I did it reversed, big or small or whatever. We all have some form of trauma, and depending on what that trauma is, it can really affect kind of how you look at the world. And he talks about his heart. He talks about how his heart is empty. Sorry, I really just wanted to see that frame. He talks about how his heart is literally a void, how it's so empty, and it's like the trauma you go through that leads you to feel like that. It can often be a really self-destructive kind of way of thinking, and you kind of have to have a good support system, which I think and I hope that Mingi does, both in Ateez and also in his wider life. But it's that kind of thing of when you get to that much trauma, it can be hard for your heart to open up again, to care, and your worldview can be it can become very dark and insular. This is such a nice song to listen to, though. I know that's an ironic thing to say, but just listening to it and just hearing him kind of talk and relay this story to us, it's nice that he feels comfortable being able to do that. And I always think that art in general, whether it's music, pictures, photography, whatever, it's a great motivator and it's a great way of dealing with trauma that you have. So that's what I mean when I say it's nice to listen to it, because obviously the subject matter, not very nice, but knowing that hopefully, because he's felt comfortable enough to record and release this, that he's if not worked on this part of his trauma or anything like that, but is working on his trauma. I think that's the kind of positive takeaway for me. Again, I just want to talk about the cinematography of this. You have here, this is, apart from like the kind of the blue light we had in earlier parts of the music video, this is kind of almost the brightest we've kind of seen a scene in this music video. And especially because it's the kind of burning barrels, it's almost a signifier almost of that kind of lighting the torch and blazing forward. This music video deals a lot with black, white, grey tones and bluish tones. And again, so this contrast of having the flaming barrels does give me like a sense of hope in the song, or to the song, that he has again maybe worked through some of this or has worked through this particular part of his trauma, and maybe is in a place where he actually does feel that he can move on and open himself up and flourish and bloom and you know, be the wonderful Mingi that a lot of us know and love. I say a lot of us because not everyone knows Ateez and not everyone knows Mingi. But yeah, that's what I draw from that. Even like that last shot, oh, that was nice. There's an element where with the lighting, the kind of left side, at least the left side of his face, is kind of more lit in like yellow tones. Obviously on the right side of the frame you've got these very grey tones, grey bluish tones, and it's maybe suggesting that kind of thing of a new dawn, a sunrise. You know, as talked about in the lyrics, there is literally a light in his eyes, which, you know, you could take as being hopeful. So that was my reaction to Mingi's Fix Off Desire Project number 1, Tunnel. I really, really liked it. I didn't know what we were going to be getting from Mingi with this release. The pictures, as I said, I think before I started recording, were very much angsty, emotional, that kind of thing of expecting maybe something dark. And he very much delivered on that dark theme. But again, I think maybe by the end, with some of those design choices in the cinematography, I think maybe the end of Project 1 might lead to a happier Mingi by the end of the project. I'm not going to say by project number 2 or 3 because I don't know how many projects we're going to get, project numbers we're going to get. But I'm hoping, especially because the project's called the Desire Project, I'm really hoping that we are going to maybe over the course of this project, we're going to see like a transformation from a more sad, angsty Mingi to maybe a more content, I'm not going to say happy, but a content Mingi. I don't know about anybody else, but I think there's a difference between being content and being happy. If you're in a certain level of comfort in your life, but that comfort doesn't always necessarily mean you're fully happy. I think it's sometimes in order to be truly happy, you have to take risks, and that's kind of why I say like contented doesn't always mean happy, because in order to be content, there needs to be a level of comfort in your surroundings. I feel personally, but yeah, I really, really love this song. I'm really looking forward to the future project releases. He did a great job. They all the people that worked on this, from the producers that helped him and writers that helped him, and writers in terms of like the storyboarding and stuff like that. Storyboarding artists, that's what I meant. Everyone that worked on this, really great job. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave me your thoughts in the comments if you have any, which I'm sure you do. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye everyone. Bye.